I'm gonna do it. So get ready. This is called The Price of Sentience. I entered this world with the best of intentions to find myself stranded in just 3 dimensions. A vertical vertebrate, a blank slate from a dream state, a prisoner of conscience with billions of cellmates looking up at the stars. It felt like staring through bars held here in the near to imagine the far, bound to recite the Miranda rights of the finite and fail to make out details in the unending twilight. Confined to the double-edged fate of the blind, I clung to my tree, but sensed a forest behind, stretching endlessly outward in every direction, in an infinite number of forms of perfection, till a whispering voice left no choice but to answer. A divine intervention that spread like a cancer. I never requested to be tested with great responsibility, but a call of self-knowledge was forwarded to me in a cryptic note with no sign of who wrote it. The instant I read it, my awareness exploded into the pain of this world so dark and intense, inserting bleak words into my common parlance. The short span of my life had brought me to this, betraying myself with a celibate kiss. The sum total of all of my tiny pretensions was not enough to cover the price of my sentience. See, the raw physics of reality make it easier to face. Even the densest object is just empty space. I moved on burdenless, there was nothing to pack. It would all still be there when I never came back. I proceeded to feed what I needed to find, the absurd baby birds in the nest of my mind whose cries would shake loose the bonds that would break me. I'd be riding that wave to where it would take me. Unmoored from the reality I'd come to know, all dressed up in questions and nowhere to go, naively believing I had been deceiving myself with the mixed signals I'd been perceiving. Lurching and searching through the stacks in my brain, unsatisfied son of what was left unexplained, I fought my restraints till I climbed up the wall and looked down on the question that started it all. What if everything I had been told was a lie, and life was just killing time, waiting to die, until principle sacrificed and cold compromises pulled all of the cables that connect my devices. A walk-on for a stand-in, I'd overplay my hand and have half of mine left to neglect and abandon. Consciousness is the sin which we cannot repent. All hope lost to the crippling cost of our sentience. See, the root of the lore was that I'd been here before, came to scheme my way through the last unopened door, awake from a dream, to find myself in another one where my eternal journey had barely begun. So I stood on this precipice more than once, a genius decked out in the cap of a dunce, all these years spent between facing mirrors, trying to see past my own head and get clear, stuck in the muck of a point on a line, just a twig in the river of linear time where all that could ever be known swirled about me like a host of hostages being marched to the sea. Then bobbing alone in a boundless ocean, my dry lungs filling with liquid emotion, a cast of millions with only one speaking part, and script notes that implored me to speak from the heart. So hard to stay focused with time running out, but just one selfless act might prove I was devout, so dumb to succumb to grief and frustration in sight of the light of my true destination. Eyes once opened may never close again, but the yearning to return to sleep never ends. Every brilliant recusant still craves blissful ignorance, but when the bill comes due, pays full price for their sentience. So, what do we earn in return for not opening our minds? What pet do we get for not testing the confines of unexamined lives lived inside the boundaries without seeking out what it truly means to be the insignificant animals that walk upright on this earth, fighting time and gravity for all we are worth? The sad subjects of gods who so easily ignore us as our disparate voices form a dissonant chorus. Submerged in systems we can barely conceive of, waiting for great edicts to come down from above. Well, the truth is, most of us don't really care for the endless enigma of being self-aware. The benediction of the bored is the just reward for leaving the reaches of life unexplored. To stay disconnected with all walls erected, protected by electing to reject the unexpected. It takes awareness and courage to live a good life, And if you can stay calm at the point of the knife of your longing to be free in your pursuit of ecstasy, you'll find love is the only thing that makes it worthwhile to be. Love is the only thing that makes it worthwhile to be. So get real and deal with what drives your intentions. Find the will to let go of your misapprehensions. It's all part of the cost that nobody mentions. It's unnerving, serving a sentence of sentience. Don't dally in dungeons of darker dimensions or let your longing for justice become a hunger for vengeance. If you can sign on to all the aforementioned, you may have saved up enough for the price of your sentience.